Facebook, it is that time of the week again, and for the first time in the history of Ask Jack, Rosie actually got the countdown correct. This is amazing. This is progress. See, it only took us about 2.5 years. We finally nailed the intro. Guys, a lot of you will recognise this great man sitting next to me. We're super pumped to have Mr. Dorry Kordahi in the building tonight. This man is one of Australia's leading entrepreneurs. He started from very humble beginnings, which we'll talk about a little bit tonight, and has since been listed 6 times in the BRW Young Rich List. Would have been again in 2017, but I think he's just got a little bit too old, a little bit too over the hill for the Young Rich List these days. We'll probably see him on the proper one any year now. Guys, Dorry's the co-founder and CEO of DKM Blue, a company specialised in brand merchandising, who work with large international brands all around the world. He's also acquired many businesses in the fashion and retail spaces over the last couple of years, and so has a deep experience in acquisitions and integrations, as well as how to maximise profitability along a growth journey. And he's recently released this new book, which I'm a huge fan of, Win Big, Risk Small. If there's one thing this man knows how to do, it's achieve great growth, great profitability, while minimising the downside risk. So we're very happy to have him here tonight. Mate,
thanks, Jack.
Thanks for coming back.
Feels weird looking to a phone.
Yeah, that's all happening. How you been?
Good, good.
Yeah.
Been busy.
You're looking well?
Yeah, year's gone quick, so I'm looking forward to summer.
Would you? It's November tomorrow.
It is. No, it's been good. It's been a
That
good
is
year for
crazy.
us, and flies out the door.
It does.
Which has been
Time
good.
goes too fast.
It does.
Too fast. Now, Facebook, as always, you guys are going to set a lot of the agenda tonight with your questions. So, in the comments below, questions for Dorry and I. The particular question areas tonight are business growth, acquisitions, and branding. Dorry's obviously an expert when it comes to branding, and has also released his own magazine a number of years ago, which really became the premier magazine in his space of merchandising. And so business growth, acquisitions and integration, people management, maximising profitability, and branding as well. So guys, ask your questions. What we're going to do tonight is the 3 best questions, as voted and determined by me, will get a signed copy of Dorry's brand new book. So the 3 best questions will each get a signed copy of the new book. So make sure you punch your questions into the comments below. Now, mate, talk to us, for those of you, those that are watching that aren't familiar with your story, talk to us about where you came from and some of the highs and lows along the way.
Look, for me, I was, high school failure, no degree in university, started hairdressing with my dad, as you know. And had an opportunity at 21 to start working in the wholesale industry, selling t-shirts. And from there, went overseas, played a bit of basketball professionally in between that period. And came back at 25 after working with the family business for 3 years and started my own company from my parents' garage. And just took it from there, and the rest is history. So just pretty much, spending 3 years working in the industry of what I'm doing right now gave me the ability and the understanding of what I believed was the right path, and took a chance and took a punt on myself. Started it from my parents' garage, and built a successful business doing so.
That's awesome, mate. I remember in your first book, and this is something we've also discussed, but you were the towel boy for the Sydney Kings. Towel boy for the Sydney Kings at one point, right, when he was younger, and then went on to become a part owner.
Yeah, that was
in the Sydney Kings.
Yeah, I was 12 when I was the towel boy, and by 32 I part owned it.
Yeah, wow.
Which was the youngest sports team owner in the country.
Yeah.
It's a good way to lose money, but it was a calculated investment. I knew what I wanted to lose, and I made sure. Yeah,
a labour of love. Mate, what's that been like for you? There's a lot of people watching this that are on the way up.
Yeah.
What was it like for you going from towel boy, hairdresser to BRW Young Rich List, part owner in the Sydney Kings, several successful businesses? What's that rise been like?
You know what? Look, it's all based on just having patience, and that's something that I've grown up as a kid. I never really had patience. I always wanted it now, but for me, teaching myself to having the patience in business, building the business, and then not focusing on the money aspect.
Yeah.
Something it's pretty much just changing your tune in the way you analyze business. So for me, it was more about building the right platform, the right foundations, and just having the patience.
Yeah.
And when you do obviously succeed and you know, money does come your way.
Yeah.
It's having the willpower to not sort of lose focus on the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And that's sort of staying grounded and staying humble.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, which has been a very important aspect of my life. Is staying grounded and not getting carried away with your own success, and you know, and taking stupid risks, and you know, and just taking those small steps year by year.
And that's something that you talk about a lot. Is it's not just about becoming successful; it's about staying successful.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is often as difficult as becoming successful, isn't it? It
is. Like, you know, success is based on, you know, for me, success is not based on wealth. You know, wealth is a byproduct of what you achieve in business. You know, so I've always focused on, if you build the right business and you build the right model, success will be a byproduct of what you do. And, you know, it's like sports, and everything I've done in sports, you know, playing at a high level or on a state level, you know, you've got to train hard and you've got to work hard, and that's something that I've always not been shy of. You know, working hard, and you know, if you work hard and you train hard, it doesn't mean you're going to always succeed in what you do. It's, you know, if you can tick as many positive boxes in what you do, you know, it's bound to work.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee.
Yeah, yeah. You had great organic growth for what, probably a decade or more.
Look, everything's always been organic growth. We haven't really invested into any marketing other than just, you know, the small little clever things of what we've done, but everything has been an organic growth. Everything has been self-funded, self-grown with what we do.
Yeah.
Definitely could have taken a lot more bigger gambles, grown quicker, made more profit, you know, grown double the business by chucking a lot more money at what we've done. But, you know, I was comfortable with what the growth we had, at the steady growth, and, you know, and build your personal wealth. And I always say to people that, you know, building wealth in a business, if you don't take something off the table and build your personal wealth, if anything happens tomorrow and you've got no personal wealth to show for it, well, then you've just pretty much gone backwards.
Yeah, yeah. Recently you started making acquisitions, right? The last few years, and how many have you made now?
3, 4.
Talk to us about them and what you've learned through those experiences in terms of making sound acquisitions, because again, that can be a high risk thing to do, right? If you don't do it with patience and diligence.
Look, I've been looking for acquisitions for the last 10 years. It's just fortunate enough the last 4 years they've all come through in one hit. You know, the first 2 companies we acquired were in administration, so for me it was a favourable term, because you're not buying a lot in terms of the turnover. You're buying the assets, the clientele base, which is what we focused on. You know, when you talk about acquisitions, you're actually really investing in the staff and the key and the owners. Because for me, a business is nothing if the owners don't buy into who you are and what you believe in. Yeah. Because, you know, they can turn it pear-shaped real quickly. So if they don't buy into your beliefs, your model, you know, your strategy, then no matter what you paid for it, it can disrupt your business as well. So the first thing to look at it, who are the owners of the current business? Do they buy into what I believe in? And because if they don't, then it's not worth it.
Talk to us about, and I don't know how deep you can go, but remember you and I having a chat in your office probably a year ago, and you were talking to me about the strategic thought that had gone into a couple of in terms of, you know, you're in merchandising and branding, and then no one had ever sort of gone from there into fashion, and you know there was a real strategic.
Well, for us, look, for me, any acquisition has got to add value to what you do. Yeah. And that's something that I've always looked at, is bolting things onto your business to diversify. And all the acquisitions that we've taken on board, it actually diversified our business model. Operations were all centralised the same. There was no disharmony with the back end of what we've had. Every part has added value. And now we're the only company in the industry with over 4,000 competitors that would run across fashion to corporate uniforms and to merchandise. You know, a lot of them will cover 2 areas, but not 3. And everything that, you know, every bolt-on that I've taken has added value to all other elements of the company. So we've taken one company from 100 staff down to 4, with acquisition, the other one from 25 down to 2. Because we've had a centralised operation. So for me, when you're looking at what it can add value to, it wasn't the turnover that I was buying. I was buying what, one of them was bringing in key factories from China that will add value to other parts of the business, from our corporate uniforms, which was our fashion part. So it all had
which
to
helped you reduce costs in the core business.
Correct. So it all has to add value. And that's something I've always focused on, which is what we've done, I think, quite well.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Alrighty, Facebook, we're getting close to the time where I throw it over to you guys, so answer your questions in the comments below. Questions for Dorry, and for the 3 people that give us the best 3 questions, you will get a signed copy of Dorry's book. The other thing you need... Go on, Rosie.
I think we've got quite a few questions.
Shoot, Rosie,
Hopefully they're not hard.
Sorry?
Hopefully they're not hard.
I think you'll be alright, mate.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Start with Michael. He asks, building a team is always a hugely important part of business success. How do you go about making that happen when you can't even pay a wage for yourself, let alone someone else at the beginning?
So, building a team?
Yeah.
How do you build a team if you can't pay your wages?
Yeah.
Well, build a team around yourself first. That's probably the first. Look, for me, starting my company, it was pretty much myself for the first year and a half. So it's very hard to build a team when the cash flow's not there. So you've got to be sort of, you got to be an individual employee, but covering all aspects of your business. So it's a tricky one, but if I guess once you do have the funds there to build a team, for me, we've got 25 staff, so we still run a very lean team. What I'm finding the challenges now is keeping all of them in harmony, and now really focusing on making sure that all areas of business, the communication flow, is running smoothly, because when you do have a few Gen Ys and a few senior people, you can get a lot of disharmony within the organisation. So it's really now focusing on our communication barrier, which is what we're focusing on at the moment. But look, it's a if you're working on your own, you're trying to build your team, you've got to build the cash flow to hire staff. I guess.
Who was your first hire?
My first hire was a friend of mine, Elisa, was with me for 15 years. So I got her on board. Yeah, so she just resigned last year, but she had a 15-year stint with us. So she's been my first and longest serving employee. But
I think how old I was 15 years ago.
What?
I was 15.
But look, So a lot of our staff have been with us for 10 years, 8 years, 9 years. So we've had a lot of staff that's staying with us for a while. So, but yeah, my first one was 2 years after I started.
Why do you think they stay?
Look, for me, it's honestly, we don't pay the best. Yeah. But for me, it's building the right culture. Yeah. And giving them the freedom to be able to go out there and be comfortable. And for me, it's about educating them. If they can gain education from what I can teach them, to give them the freedom that they're not being micromanaged, and making them feel comfortable within the environment, then there's no reason why they should leave. Yeah. And I've had staff leave and then come back. Yeah. Because they realise that the environment that we have is a good environment. Yeah. Yeah. It's unique. It is. Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. Rosie, next question from the team.
Sorry, just coughing behind the camera. So the next question comes from Sean. He asks, is big risk critical for success?
Good question for this man.
Big risk.
Do you have to take big risks in order to be successful?
Look, I haven't taken big risks, and I think I'm successful in my own right. No, you don't. I think take small risks, and that's something I've always focused on. It's about taking those calculated gambles, taking small risks that don't cost you a lot of things. I've taken risks, but they've all been very, very small risks. So I'm completely opposite to that. So
that's
take small risks.
That's the name of your book, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Win big, risk small.
Mate, one of the things that I really admire about how you go about business is, and like last time we did an interview, I think I said when the cameras turned off, I was like, I've done thousands of interviews, and it's phenomenal how few of them have actually spoken about the fundamentals of business and profitability, and just how much discussion there is, around entrepreneurship and around fundamentals and profitability. Talk to us about your philosophy around that.
For me, it's to keep it simple. I had no degree and I had no education. You know, I leverage off my sport in terms of how I analyse my business. I've kept it simple from day one, and I still try to keep it simple. I think it's important. People try to complicate business. You know, it's ins and outs. You know, if you don't make a profit, there is no business, and that's something that I've always looked at is, you know, return on investment per staff member. If you're going to hire a staff member, what's it going to cost you? How much are you going to get a return? You know, what's the share profit between a staff member to what they get you in terms of the profitability to what you pay out? So I've really just kept it simple, and I still keep it simple today. You know, it's basic overheads versus turnover, and you know, what's your bottom line? You know, there's no point turning over $100 million, spending $99 million and making $1 million profit. That's a high risk business. Turn over $3 million and make $2 million profit and spend $1 million. That's a great business. Because not many, you know, making $2 million profit, you know, it's equivalent to a $10 million business, a $12 million turnover. So don't be focused on what you turn over. Be focused on your bottom line, because that's what really counts.
And a micro example of one of the behaviours that you employ around that is it weekly or monthly? You go through all of the invoices, some of the invoice, just to look at everything that's going out.
I look at it weekly.
Weekly.
I still click the button on pay.
I love that.
Because, you know, look, if you're not across your business, you don't understand every part of your business, well, then you're running a blind business. And even though I've got my, you know, 3 accountants, I've got my production team, my creative team, I've always, you know, I always skim the invoices, press pay, but I don't actually sit there and actually process getting it all ready. But you approve it. Yeah, you need to understand your business, and that's one thing I've never let go is not knowing my business. And I think you've got to have an understanding of where your business sits day in, day out. You know, good CEOs and people that actually, you know, do well, the ones that actually know their business. And I don't think people like, you know, big multinationals don't get involved in their business. I don't know how Gates and all those people run their business, but you know, if you're talking about, you know, your mid-size, you know, to big multinationals locally, you've got to have an understanding of your business. Otherwise, you're running a blind business, which is high risk.
So being across and familiar with everything from big picture strategy down to the detail everywhere.
And look, you know, even if you can, you know, quiz your staff in those areas, at least they know that you're on the ball. And that's part of showing them that you're actually engaged with the business. You engage within their roles of what they're doing. And it just adds, you know, it shows them that you're actually a good leader. Being blind to things and not knowing, this shows them that, you know, is this captain steering the ship in the right direction? And that's something I've always been focused on, is making sure that, you know, staff have a sense that you know, the leader of the ship is actually knowing what they're running about. Builds their confidence. Everybody
wants to work for somebody who cares, right? And so your people know that when you're checking invoices every Friday, that's you demonstrating care, right? When you don't accept poor performance, that's you demonstrating that you care, you engage, right? You're there.
Definitely. You've got to lead by example, and that's something I've always believed in.
Love that.
Even, you know, even taking a day off working from home, I feel guilty. Which is sad, and I should be enjoying myself. For my, but,
you've earned it.
But look, I don't know. It's just that culture that I've had within me, whether it's through my sports or who I am. You know, if I'm not in the office showing face, I feel like I'm letting the team down. That's it's a good thing, but it's also hard for me to get away. So it's a challenge.
That's awesome. Rosie, next question.
Next question comes from Kafan. He actually asked, did you learn any lessons in your athlete career that you have applied to your business ventures?
I have. Look, for me, if you buy my book, you will know there's a whole chapter about sports and what I've learned. Look, for me, it was all about my sport was my education, not having a degree. You know, I looked at, when you play basketball. When I played basketball, it was about the training, the hard work, the visualization, analysing the plays in the game, building the right team. You know, when you look at a team, you don't have 5-star players. You've got a few star players, a few role players. You've got your bench. So it's building a cohesiveness within your team. So, and that's why I built my team, is having a couple of star players. For me, I had to be the star. So if I'm hiring a star to build my business, well, then I'm up shit creek. But the only way I can be a star is by knowing the industry, knowing all aspects of my business, and knowing my business. So I was a star player. Elisa was my second star player, who was the first girl that I hired. And then I hired a lot of juniors to support us. And hiring the juniors, you're training them and giving them experience to actually grow and to become key players. And then from there you build your team. So I've definitely leveraged a lot from my basketball, and that's something I've talked a lot about in my book as well. So,
Mate, what do you do with your people to help them grow? Because you are quite a hands-on leader, aren't you?
yeah, look, I am. I'm going through challenges now with staff. We hired a lot of staff in their 20s, so that Gen Y is
Bloody Gen Y.
Is the question why? I've got no idea why. Look, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
I've never had so many young staff hired at one time, and but for me at 20, I just worked hard. I wasn't paid the most, but I actually put my, I look at it as a degree and as an investment within myself. So you're actually spending more time with the younger staff, trying to empower them that this is the first step in their career. You've got to climb the ladder. It's going to be the hard steps, and you are going to work harder.
Yeah.
But you need to show me that you're committed, because when you do show that, well then you're going to, we're going to give you the commitment back. So it's actually trying to empower them to actually teach them that it is not going to be an easy road, and you're not going to go off and earn the big salaries with me as a starting point. But you'll get a lot of knowledge if you're willing to put the effort into it.
Yep.
So, and you can't force it on people. Some will get it, some will want to grow, and some won't.
Yeah.
That's part of life.
They've got to bring the hunger.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good. Rosie.
Another question. We're going to do so many tonight.
Good.
Okay, cool. Next question comes from Kazuki. They ask, what is the most important part to keep in mind when it comes to creating or recreating your new brand identity?
These are
Which a
good
lot of
questions for
people also
Dorry.
asking, kind of similar and the same. I'm just going to group them. How important is your logo and your business name to your brand success?
So let's start with the first one. What are the key elements that you focus on when rebranding or bringing a brand to life?
Look, for me, when I first started, it was Dorry Kordahi Management, which was literally DKM.
Yeah.
For me, a brand is secondary. We talk about logos and brand. I think when you build the culture of the business and you build what the business stands for, the brand will actually become something. When you go back and you look at Nike and you see that swoosh with the Nike, what was it 20 years ago, 30 years? It was nothing. Like, who was Nike? But when they're focused on the product, building what the brand stands for, they signed up Michael Jordan, and people were freaking out saying, why is Michael Jordan signing with one of the most smallest shoe companies in the world? Because it was the smallest company. Converse and Reebok were at the pinnacle. You look at brands like that. What was Microsoft? All these brands were nothing when that first started. Apple. So when I look at my business, my brand was just my logo of what it stood for. Those are things that we built. Was the service, the reliability, the efficiency, price, the image, and the logo then started taking form and taking shape to what we're about. No brand you're going to design straight away is going to have an instant impact. The entourage when you started it, what was the entourage? It was 9 people. When I first started talking at your event, it was like 9 people inside a room.
It's a few more than that, but...
No, well, when the first, way back.
Oh, scalable,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
So it was quite small, but
Yeah.
over years, you built the brand, your
Built it.
reputation, and what it stood for, and you grew from there. So, I think if you build the right values in your business, the brand will take shape to what you build the values of what that brand is.
I love that answer.
That was right. I hope I gave something.
Well,
It's what I believe in.
It's exactly what I'm always talking about, in that your brand is not your logo, it's not your corporate ID, it's the feelings that your customers and your marketplace associate with you and your business,
It's
right?
creating those touch points.
100%. And understanding that every touch point forms your brand, right? When you answer the phone, when you talk to a customer, when you don't answer the phone, don't talk to a customer, every email, every product, every experience, that's all forming the relationship with audience. That's brand.
Very true.
Yeah.
Experiential touch points.
Oh, punchline, yes. Dorry Kordahi's in the
Trying to
building.
work it for you, man.
Rosie, next question.
Okay, next question comes from Catherine Ross.
How happy are you, by the way? This is like probably the most questions we've ever done in one episode.
I'm getting a lot of good ones. Okay, next one comes from Catherine. She asks, we all go through growing pains, but how do you navigate through this when the pressure is on? A few businesses go through this at the 4-year mark.
I haven't really had growing pains. And that's just due to the fact that I've taken those small steps. I haven't rushed in any part of my business. I haven't rushed any hirings. I've focused on building a very, very good cash flow within the business, which gave me the strong foundation that didn't have to worry about growing pains. The challenges that I did face is that when you do have an influx of orders and clients, what's the next strategic move you're going to have, which is hiring the next staff member. I always say, you're not in a race, so if you feel like you're going through growing pains, it's taken a step back and slow down the process and build that comfort zone. Because, for me, every step that I took in my early stages of my career, even signing my first lease, moving out to my parents' garage, it wasn't a growing pain, but it was like the next stage in my career. And that first lease that I signed, which was $35,000 going back many years, compared to what I had in my bank account, was not even a drop in the ocean. But I was still very nervous because it was a commitment that I've never had before. Like, wow, I need to sign a 3-year lease. I'm committed to be here for 3 years. But every step was a new step, and once I got comfortable in that stage, I took that next push past that comfort zone to keep growing and developing. So just take small steps and not rush the process.
It's awesome. One of the things you talk about is that when everything's going really, really well, you actually get nervous.
I do.
Go on.
No, look, I do get nervous. Which is stupid.
But it's so good because you go looking for where are the weeds.
More headaches.
Well, not more. You go, what are the headaches that I don't know about that might become bigger headaches if I don't nip them in the bud early, right?
Yeah. Look, for me, when things become comfortable, then I get nervous. It's just due because I like to keep on pushing myself beyond my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always believed in, is that when you get comfortable, you need to push yourself to that next level of success. And what is that? And that's why the acquisition I've taken over, growing the business, acquiring, new investments.
Yeah.
I like to throw a spin on the woodwork. So it keeps me mentally in tune, and it just keeps my brain ticking.
Yeah.
And that's something that I love to keep pushing myself. Instead of slowing down. The good thing about business, 42 now, gave my age away, but it's, you're still young.
Yeah.
You look at sports. At 32, you're retiring. 42, you're still very young in the corporate world. People are working at 65, 70, and any entrepreneur that I know in their 80s are still working and still. You're working because you want to, not because you have to. And that's something I've always tried to focus on, is work because you want to. And when you have that mentality, work becomes enjoyable. It's not a chore. So 100%. I actually enjoy it. And when you're throwing more things at the fire, hopefully the flames light up more.
Yeah, 100%. Love that. All right, Rosie, we've got time for one more question.
Okay, one more. This one comes from Jackie Peel. She asks, what advice do you have to maintain great culture when key staff move on to follow their own purpose?
Look, creating good culture, for me, it's all about the environment you work in, and that's something that that I've always focused on is just having a good environment within your office. People are going to always want to grow and want to explore their own channels, and that's healthy. But it's just creating a good vibe within your office. You spend more hours in your office than you do at home. So you're going to constantly have that. And when your seniors go on to actually take on their own ventures, have your junior staff or your mid-tier staff, train them up so that actually they've got a succession plan. And everyone. And the good thing about my business at the moment, I've got a lot of staff that are multitask, and that's something that I've really focused on, is multitasking a lot of our staff. So if one person does leave, they've got an opportunity to slide into a new role, into a new position. So I don't try to have individual, single layer staff in terms of roles, and that's how had a very tight business and a tight team is having a lot of staff can multitask. You get more, for the business. They get to learn multiple aspects of your business, which gives them more experience if they end up going elsewhere.
Yep.
They've got a lot more to show on their resume. So
Yep.
train that mid-tier level staff to actually be able to take that next step up.
Love that. That's good. That's good. Okay. Facebook, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure to have this great man join us for Ask Jack D. We've got 3 people that have asked questions. We're going to win a signed copy of Dorry's new book. This is how I'm going to roll. I'm going to pick my favourite question. Rosie's going to pick her favourite question. Dorry's going to pick his favourite question.
Geez, I didn't remember.
Yeah, that's why I'm delegating 2 to you, because I can only remember 1.
Jeez.
You want me to run through them?
Run through it, run through it.
Okay.
All right, run through it.
Actually, so
Which one do you think I'm
we
gonna
have
pick?
Sean
Rosie.
Is, well, I don't know. Is big risk critical for success?
That was my second favourite.
Okay, I thought you were going to choose that. Okay.
I was going to pick that one.
That's okay.
I'll
That's
take
Dorry's.
that. That's
my
mine.
favourite one.
All right. So the big risk one is Dorry's. You have got a free signed book.
Sean, you've got a free signed book. Okay, so then we had Kafan. Did you learn any lessons in your pro athlete career that you've applied
That I
to
like
a
as
business
well.
venture? I was going to pick that one.
Okay.
Good. Rosie,
Rosie and Dorry picking that one. Who's that, Rosie? What's that person's name?
Kafan.
Kafan.
Well
there we
done.
go. Kafan, you've
Morning,
actually
Kafan.
got a signed book, Win Big, Risk Small by Dorry Kordahi.
All right, now we've got Michael was how do you go about building a team?
Nah.
Kazuki,
Oh, geez.
what is the most important part to keep in mind when creating your brand identity?
That's the one. What's his name?
That was Kazuki.
Kazuki. You have also won
Well
a
done.
Win Big, Risk Small. Well done. Guys, we're going to get Dorry to sign these 3 copies and Rosie will liaise with you 3 to get them out to you, or feel free to pop into our Entrepreneur Development Centre here at the Entourage in Sydney. Now, for those of you that aren't following Dorry on Instagram, naughty, you need to start doing that. His name is Dorry Kordahi, DorryKordahi. Rosie will put that, she'll put that handle in the comments below so that you guys can check Dorry out on Instagram and
Also
follow.
putting a link to the book
Yes,
in the
nice.
comments below.
Good, a few questions. Okay, if you've ever looked at the link, guys, do get that book. Having read Dorry's first book, having read this book, again, Dorry's a guy that brings so much fundamental wisdom to business that unfortunately there is a huge absence of in today's conversation around entrepreneurship, particularly startups, right? So I think if you're an early stage entrepreneur, if you're a high growth entrepreneur, if you're a small to medium sized business, you will be able to get a lot of fundamentals from this book. So make sure that you do that, mate. Always a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Good man.
Thank you very much.
Always enjoyable.
See you guys.